Good evening, everyone. We are from Group 5, the video where we present on bioprinting of bone. So this is a short overview of our presentation. So what is bioprinting? So bioprinting, to understand bioprinting, let's break it down. Bioprinting includes the position, deposition of living cell biomaterials and growth factor in a layer-by-layer manner to create three-dimensional tissue construct. It follows a similar principle to conventional 3D printing. The printer bioencoding of cells that are carefully selected and cultured to mimic and the desired shape. These cells are then loaded into a printer catalyst and deposited according to a pre-programmed design. As the printed structure matures, the cell differentiates and organizes, ultimately forming a functional tissue. So the need for bone regeneration. Bone regeneration plays a critical role in field of orthopedic and tissue engineering. Every year, millions of people worldwide suffer from bone fracture due to trauma, disease, or aging. Traditional treatments such as bone graft, metal, and implants or artificial prostheses have limitations. These methods often face challenges such as limited availability, risks of infection, immunorejection, and the inability to regenerate complex bone structures.
In this part, we'll be talking about the anatomy of the bone. So the structure and the composition of the bone is simply, as we can see here in the picture, that's a femur. Actually, it contains like the compact bone, which is this part, and actually it is a dense and hard out layer that gives strength and rigidity to the bone, and there is the spongy layer which gives flexibility. Also, it contains like bone marrow, which helps in the generation of the blood cells. It's lightweight and porous inner layer. And there is the bone marrow itself, which is found in the center of the bones, responsible for blood cell production. Also, it consists of living cells, including osteoblasts, osteoclasts, and osteocytes surrounding by a matrix of collagen and calcium phosphate crystals, which makes about 71% of the bone itself. For the regeneration process, it's unique. It has a unique ability of regeneration and repair. It starts by 4 stages. First of all, inflammation, which makes a blood clot at the fracture and makes an immune response, attracting the cells involved in the healing process. Then the soft callus formation and the hard callus formation, which makes a collagen that stabilizes the fracture and bridges the gap between bone ends, where this part is actually changed by osteoblasts later on to be replaced by a hard callus or a bony callus, and then the remodeling process over time, the hard callus is remodeled by osteoclasts and osteoblasts, restoring the bone original shape and structure.
There are 3 types of bioprinting techniques used in the bioprinting of bone. First, inkjet, laser assisted, and micro extrusion. This table shows the strengths and limitations of each bioprinting technique. First, the inkjet bioprinting. It can produce a scaffold with high cell viability, and it is also a low-cost operation. But the inkjet bioprinting is a lack of precision. Next, the laser assisted has precise fabrication and can produce a scaffold with high cell viability, but it is time-consuming process and high cost. Next, the micro extrusion. It can use for the wide spectrum of biomaterials, but it has low printing speed and moderate resolution.
Let's have a brief introduction to bioink. Bioink are the raw material for bioprinting processes. It is soft biomaterial loaded with living cells. There are 3 main components in bioink. The first is about the biomaterial. The biomaterial used in bioink for bone bioprinting are generally hydrogel-based. Hydrogel provide a highly hydrated, permeable 3D polymerase structure conducive to cellular adherent and metabolic activity. Here are some examples of the hydrogel biomaterial. Cells are another element for bioink. In creating bone bioprinting, the employer cell may be bone marrow-derived mesenchymal stem cell, fibroblasts, osteoblasts, and endothelial cells. Next, macromolecules such as the growth factor. Considering in modeling 3D bone structure, vascularization is important in providing nutrients to the cell for growth. Therefore, growth factors such as the VEGF and PDGF are used for enhancing angiogenesis. In order to improve osteogenesis, morphogenetic factors such as BMP2 and BMP7 are added. Their function is to induce the mitogenesis of mesenchymal stem cells and circulating osteoprogenetic cells, and also promote their differentiation into osteoblasts.
Bioprinting process of bone is as shown in this figure. The first step is imaging of bone. The second step is create CAD model from the imaging data and convert it into format that can be read by 3D printer. Third step is harvest and expand patient cells in culture. The fourth is preparations of bioink. The fifth is bioprinting of 3D construct. And in the last step, the construct will either mature in vitro for testing or implanted in vivo into patient's body. The advantages of bioprinting of bone includes is high flexibility where we can modify shape, size, distributions of interconnected pores, and etc. It It will also induce tissue ingrowth and bone formation with the entrapment of growth factors and osteogenic drugs. As for limitations, it will be the difficulty in achieving optimum mechanical properties, shape complexity, optimizations of core parameters, and vascularization.
There are a few potential applications for 3D bioprinting of bone. Firstly is in the field of orthopedics for regenerations of bone and cartilage to create patient-specific bone graft. It uses bioink to deliver living cells that promote bone growth with better control of the distribution and deposition of osteoblasts. Here is an example of customized bone implants using alginate hydrogel. Next, it can also be used in dental field and craniofacial fields, such as fabricating 3D dental plaque complexes, periodontal and bone tissues, and craniomaxillofacial bone. Lastly, it can be used in drug screening or discovery. In vitro models of bone tissues can help to analyze bone pathogenesis, develop drug screening, and test potential therapeutic strategies. It bridges the gap between 2D cell culture and in vivo animal model. And this figure shows osteogenic differentiation on 3D bioprinted in vitro bone model system.
Future of bioprinting of bone. Current challenges faced are: first, the design of the appropriate bioink. Second is the inadequate mechanical properties. Third, the vascularization of bioprinted constructs that is still challenging. And one of the ongoing research is by Gao et al. In 2015, where he designed a bioink that possesses an adequate mechanical properties to create bone and cartilage substitutes. And the bioink is composed of human mesenchymal stem cells loaded in polyethylene glycol dihydroxide hydrogel. The potential advancements in technology of 3D bioprinting bone. First, hardware and software advancements. Second, multimaterial bioinks and multi-head bioprinting machines to create constructs with chemical composition similar to bones. Third, advanced bioinks with optimal printability and biocompatibility along with optimized fabrication process. And for the potential effect on health society, first, it will enable the creation of transplantable implants or organs. Second, produce extremely accurate and detailed anatomical models that will help surgeons in the complex surgery.
Lastly, 3D bioprinting is the treatment which able to create 3D tissue constructs for patients who face trauma, bone disease, and is suitable for the elderly too. Some of the 3D bioprinting techniques are used like inkjet, laser assisted, and micro extrusion. The bioinks include biomaterials, cells, and macromolecules are under consideration to make sure the scaffold developed is safe and suitable to be used. Normally, the materials used in construct bone have to be high flexibility and have the ability to induce the tissue growth. Besides that, due to the improvement and development of 3D bioprinting, it is used for drug screening, orthopedics, craniofacial, and others. Even though the 3D bioprinting is always improving, there are challenges that still need to be solved, especially the design in bioink, mechanical properties, and the vascularization in constructs. That's all for us. Thank you.